Angela had 3 daughters and was expecting the 4th baby. On the other hand, Annabelle, her bosom friend, had gotten 4 sons already and was heavy in pregnancy for the 5th child. They went for an anomaly scan. Fate played. They were both carrying what the other needed in their wombs. "How do I tell Dominic I am having a 4th girl?" cried Angela on their way home. The thought of having a 5th son made Annabelle shiver. Then came a thought, a baby swap thought. This suggestion from Annabelle to Angela changed their lives forever. 24 years later, the whisper from the past is now hunting in the future. Sultry Tales by Melford. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share and comment to our ever-thrilling stories.
The rain had begun softly that morning in Gudu district, washing the dusty air and beating in rhythmic taps on the rooftops. It was one of those mornings in Abuja that carried a peaceful sadness, the kind that made you want to hug a cup of tea and stare through the window, which was exactly what Angela did. Her hand rested gently on her belly, swollen with the promise of her 4th child. She watched as puddles formed outside her modest 2-bedroom bungalow. Her thoughts tangled between anxiety and hope. Angela was a beautiful woman, strikingly so. Not the loud kind of beauty that demanded to be noticed, but the soft, radiant kind that turned heads without trying. Her skin was a rich, dark cocoa tone, smooth even in pregnancy. Her eyes, large and expressive, held wisdom and quiet strength. She was the kind of woman other women trusted instinctively, and children adored. Her 3 daughters, born in short intervals, were her joy, but not without complication. Each pregnancy had been a chapter of prayer and waiting, always hoping for a boy. Her husband, Dominic, had never openly expressed dissatisfaction, but Angela had long learned to hear what wasn't said. His proud smiles at church, the way he patted other people's sons' heads, the quiet sighs when people joked about his all-girls team, they all said what words didn't. Dominic was a skilled auto mechanic, respected in the neighborhood and known for his honesty and work ethic. He fixed cars for many of Abuja's top professionals, including vehicles from Delta Bank, where one of his wealthiest clients worked, Anthony Mekawa, a high-ranking banker. Through Tony came his wife, Annabelle. Annabelle and Angela had become friends over the years, though their lives had been carved out of 2 very different economic stones. Annabelle lived in a duplex in Maitama, a part of town where the houses looked like small embassies. She drove a silver Toyota Camry, ran a bakery, and flaunted jewelry with ease. Angela, on the other hand, had to budget before buying new curtains. But somehow the 2 women clicked. Perhaps it was their shared motherhood struggles. Angela with her search for a boy. Annabelle with her desire for a girl. Annabelle had 3 sons and often lamented how lonely she felt in a house full of testosterone. "Even the dogs are male," she once joked bitterly. When Annabelle arrived that morning in the rain, her figure, round and full-bodied, waddled gracefully in a peach maternity dress. Her smile was radiant, but her eyes betrayed a heaviness Angela instantly recognized. They embraced like sisters, bellies bumping gently, then stepped inside to the scent of boiling yam. Later, as they sat in the kitchen peeling eggs for the children's lunchboxes, the conversation drifted to the center of their quiet frustrations. "I think Tony will faint if this one turns out to be another boy," Annabelle said, rolling her eyes. "I told him the scan was inconclusive." Angela chuckled, though her laugh lacked strength. "Dominic was anointing my belly last night. Again. I'm beginning to feel like a church pillar." They both laughed, then went quiet. That was when Annabelle leaned in slightly and spoke, as if releasing a forbidden idea. Have you ever thought, what if we could choose? What if we could just give each other what the other one needs? Angela looked confused. How do you mean? I mean, if I have a boy, and you have a girl, what if we exchanged them? Angela stared at her friend for a long second, unsure if she was joking. But Annabelle's expression didn't change. It was quiet, cold, calculated, yet not without tenderness. You can't be serious, Angela said finally, her voice almost a whisper. Annabelle shrugged. I'm just saying. We both want what the other has. What if God gives us the wrong gift? And we just switch it to what we prayed for? The idea horrified Angela and intrigued her. It lingered in her mind even after Annabelle had gone home. Weeks passed. The pregnancies advanced. On the 25th week, they both booked ultrasound appointments at a private hospital in Asakoro. The results were definitive. Angela was carrying another girl. Annabelle another boy. They sat in silence in Annabelle's car afterward, both of them staring at the windscreen as the rain pelted it like tiny nails. It was Annabelle who finally spoke. I've spoken to someone, she said softly. A doctor. Retired. No files, no questions. He's in Mararaba. Angela turned her head slowly. You planned this. I only prepared. In case you said yes. Angela looked out the window again. Her thoughts were a whirlwind. How could she go through with something like this? How would she face herself? Yet, was it worse to give birth to another disappointment? Another unanswered prayer? Angela went home devastated in thoughts and languishing in emotions. She hardly succeeded in making dinner that night. Dominic came home drunk for the first time in months. Honey, you are drunk. Why? He coughed out a weak smile and collapsed into the sofa by the dining. I know you have news for me after the anomaly scan today. Just a little beer to clear my head in case another girl is underway. Dominic spoke weakly. This drowned Angela's emotions. Where do I get the strength to tell him it's Antha girl? The pang of this thought was now very heavy on Angela. That was when the Annabelle suggestion hit her. Honey, the scan wasn't clear, but I think we are expecting a boy. Angela hummed softly. Dominic's eyes shone in excitement. Are you serious? Please, we need to repeat this test soon. I need to confirm the sex of this baby. This he said with an overwhelming smile. Angela once again said softly, there is no need for another scan, we have a boy. She managed a weak smile and walked towards the bedroom. Sooner she got into the bedroom, she sent a message to Annabelle. I am in for the swap. That night, she never slept a wink, she stared into the darkness all night. Weeks later, the pact was sealed. Angela's water broke on a Wednesday morning. Annabelle checked herself into the hospital just hours later and was induced. Both women delivered at the private facility in Mararaba. Angela's baby came first, a healthy girl. Annabelle followed, a strong baby boy. Under the hush of dawn, and with only the complicit doctor and one nurse present, the babies were exchanged. A tiny blue tag that read Dominic's son was wrapped around Annabelle's newborn boy. The little girl went into Annabelle's arms, her identity reshaped forever. Dominic was overjoyed. Angela had finally given him a son. He named the boy Ebuka Berry Dominic after his late father. He was a beautiful baby, light brown with soft curls and deep, thoughtful eyes. Annabelle and Tony, on the other side, celebrated their miracle daughter, naming her Amara Jennifer Anthony. Tony wept tears of joy and kissed Annabelle's hands in gratitude. Years sped by like water beneath a bridge. Ebuka grew up to be extraordinary. He dismantled radios at age 7 and rebuilt his father's phone charger at 10. He was sharp, curious, and had a presence that made adults pause. Angela poured every drop of her soul into him, as if trying to earn the child she had stolen. Dominic's garage became a thriving business, then a limited company, and then a car dealership. They eventually moved into a bigger home in Jabi. Annabelle's family, however, suffered a twist of fate. Tony lost his job at Delta Bank after a financial scandal, and never fully recovered. They leaned heavily on Annabelle's bakery, which she expanded into a small business, but the wealth they once boasted of began to dry like morning dew. Ebuka's brilliance shone through school. He earned a full scholarship to the United States of America after high school and studied information technology. While overseas, he developed a startup that caught the attention of major investors. By 24, he had returned to Nigeria as the African continental representative for Digitech Incorporated, one of the largest tech companies in the world. He also founded his own firm, Guidati Imports Ltd., dealing in high-end IT equipment and infrastructure. Angela and Dominic, now in their 50s, lived like royalty. The stolen son had become their golden crown. Meanwhile, Amara Jennifer Anthony, now in her early 20s, followed Tony's old path into finance. She graduated with first-class honors in accounting and worked for a top bank in Lagos. She was beautiful, poised, brilliant, with her mother's voice and her father's analytical mind. But something had changed in Mrs. Annabelle Anthony. Her joy had become hollow, her laughter forced. Every time she saw Ebuka on TV, cutting ribbons, giving tech speeches, shaking hands with world leaders, her chest burned. That was her son, her blood, her boy. And yet, he didn't know her. Tony watched Ebuka too and envied Dominic's success. That boy in Dominic's family is just lucky, he once muttered without knowing. Annabelle had smiled tightly. Inside her a plan was forming, one that would reunite her with her son, even if it meant destroying everything else. Then, one afternoon, she called Angela and invited her for tea at the Hilton. The women hadn't met face-to-face in months. Their lives had grown apart. Angela, now in designer clothes and tinted SUVs. Annabelle, still baking cakes and managing debts. Over small cups of hibiscus tea, they spoke softly about old times, laughed about stretch marks and churchwomen, then fell into silence. That was when Annabelle leaned forward. "I've been thinking," she said. Angela looked up. Annabelle's voice was low and slow. "Ebuka is successful. So is Jennifer. They're both unmarried. What if they married each other?" Angela blinked. For the first time in 24 years, she felt fear again. Very old fear. And somewhere deep inside her, the cradle she once rocked began to creak under the weight of secrets, ready to break.